Okay, boxing fans, right now I'm just going to do a quick prediction for Kerry Hope versus Dazzling Darren Barker. Start with Kerry Hope. By the way, this fight is for the vacant IBF Intercontinental Middleweight title, which should, line up the winner for some kind of title defense for the IBF champion, Daniel Gill. Maybe that's a good chance, but I'll come into something else that I saw on Twitter later. Dazzling Darren Barker, anyway, he has had how many fights? 23 fights, 14 of which by way of knockout, to a single defeat by way of knockout to Sergio Martinez. Kerry Hope, on the other hand, has had 18 wins, only one of which by way of knockout, 4 defeats, 3 of which by way of knockout. His most standout victory was his EBU middleweight title victory over Grzegorz Proska. Proska then went on to defeat him in the rematch by way of knockout in 8, and then from there on went on to fight Gennady Golovkin and got knocked clean out. But I like Proska, by the way. I think he's a very good opponent. I'd like to see Proska versus the winner of this. That'll be a good comeback fight for him. Getting into how I see this fight going, and this is going to be a unanimous decision victory for Dazzling Darren Barker. Anything more than a unanimous decision victory for Barker would be a plus side. Barker is a very good boxer. He's a very well schooled. Sometimes he looks more East European in the way he fights compared to the British way of doing things. But that's to me. He's quite slick. He's a very good boxer. Former amateur champion, I think. And overall, I like the guy. He's quite decent. He's shown that he had the ability to give problems to Sergio Martinez in their fight before he got knocked out in the 11th. He wasn't winning the fight, but on a bill which was in Atlantic City called The Shining of the Marble. I don't think you're going to win no matter what, really. You know what I mean? But like I said, he wasn't winning, but he didn't disgrace himself. Realistically, I think that Darren Barker's a better boxer than Kerry Hope. Kerry Hope has to get in there, really hope to rough him up. Because sometimes Darren Barker, he can fight like he's shitting himself. He can really fight like he doesn't really, want to be there sometimes. But Darren Barker's back. He's injury free. He should be looking to take this over the distance. Look to surgically annihilate, in terms of boxing, Kerry Hope, and then from there on he'll be looking for a few more fights before a title fight against the likes of Daniel Gill. But another one I saw on Twitter today was that American guy Kid Chocolate was having words with Darren Barker over Twitter, and I was thinking about maybe there's a possibility that Kid Chocolate is going to import Darren Barker for a title defense, for his first title defense of his title that way. That's one way that, boxing does seem to happen nowadays, that you get a boxer like Darren Barker to come in, lose a decision, and then you can say, oh, look, I did the job better than this person, or lose by a knockout. And they go, I did better than Sergio Martinez did, and then they don't fight Sergio Martinez, but they go on a few more fights and say, look, I'm better, and then when the time's right, then they say, oh, go on, I'll fight you now. By that time, people either don't want to see it, or that's just what happens. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of good fights that could, really happen. I'm just going to quickly look at the domestic scene for middleweight. There's guys like Matthew Macklin out there. Martin Murray will be coming back from probably a loss to Sergio Martinez, so that'll be a fight that he could make. There's also guys like Billy Joe Saunders, Eamon O'Kane. He could be a comeback fight, or Nick Blackwell maybe. All these guys are probably worth putting in the ring with. I'd like to see some of these fights happen. We'll see what happens.